Okay, so what I'm going to start off with is Lieutenant Varass, and basically just removing the mould lines. He was a single piece mini, so there was no multi-parts, so no posable arms, no anything else. So I'm just basically working my way around the model, taking any mould lines I can find off. It's quite difficult when you're not cutting the parts off the sprue to get into all these different little nooks and crannies. I don't know if that's a very Scottish thing to say, nooks and crannies. Anyway, you get the gist. Pocketry is going to be much harder because it's a complete mess, but I will work on it and let you see it before I prime it. I went out to find out what this strange ball of fire in the sky was. Ironically, people in England have got snow today, which is weird. Anyway, so Lieutenant Varass, his head is going to be a problem, but I'll get to it in just a second. So I'm going to base them now with white. Okay, that's the primer good to go. I touched up a little bit about his head. There's a small miscast just underneath the skull stud in his forehead, but I'm just going to crack on, and I'm going to use, if I can get it in the shot, Panzer his flesh base and a tiny little bit of flow improver. Just about to see that there. So I always wondered how people did this. So that's the elf flesh I just put on there, and that's just mixed it into the colour I already had, so it's darker and then it goes into this lighter puddle, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I really need to just concentrate on the bits that I know are going to be the shiniest bits, because that's where the sunlight's going to hit, or moonlight if you're that way inclined. So I'm going to try and concentrate on trying to paint and look at a camera at the same time. It's way hard. So, bridge of his nose, his eyebrows. You can see I was looking at the camera there and just stuck it right in his eye socket, which is the one place I didn't want to go. But such is life. I'll try and tidy it up in a minute. Basically the folds in the skin.
So the problem here is simply that there's no quick win. It's hundreds of layers of very thin opaque paint. I was blowing on this just to dry them as quickly as I possibly could. I know other people use hair dryers and other various ways of holding them under halogen lights and things. Whatever works for you. As you can see, I just made a mess of that by poking the tip of the brush into the eye socket, which is the one place I wanted to avoid. There's going to be very little talking over the next couple of minutes while we just whiz through this, but you'll gradually see, especially if it's speeded up, you do actually see the colour starting to lighten around his forehead, his cheekbones and the bridge of his nose. Now we're coming to one of my favourite bits in the whole painting process, and that is the Ogre Flesh wash. I think they've changed the name of it now, but that's my bottle and I love going splodge. Here we go. That's it, get it right in there. Don't be afraid. When I first started painting, I was freaking out at this point, going, oh my god, I've ruined it. No, you haven't. In fact, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, and that's to flow into these parts. Always add a drop of flow improver into it so you don't get left with tide marks, but apart from that, it's a winner. And pretty soon you're going to have dreams of being a golden demon winner. And this is just obviously after you've done the sloshing on the washes. It's bringing back these details. And this is the bit that takes patience, 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 and more patience. So we're nearly finished this stage, and it's now time for his lipstick. So the tiniest little drop of blood red mixed with the flesh colour, the light flesh colour, and it's barely noticeable. It really is barely noticeable. It's only when you see it, when the rest of the face is done, that you actually notice that his bottom lip is a sort of slightly more pinky colour. Again, it's just a bit of practice. We're coming up to the trickiest part here, one of the trickiest parts, and that is splodging the eyes on. The camera didn't really catch that very well, but you'll see his right and our left as we're looking at eye isn't right, so I'm going to go in and fix that now. Just make that slightly bigger. You need balls of solid brass to do this, so don't be surprised if you make a mistake every now and again. And then dot in the pupils of the eyes. It's always better to come down from the top. Saying this one you're about to see, I don't do it. I just put a dot in, but I get away with it because his facial expression isn't surprised. And now it's a case of putting the service studs, the background of the service studs, because they're obviously going to be chrome in a minute, or silver. You just need something to set them off from the skin. So again, deft little touches of the brush. That's a 4 zeros brush, that one. What I'm doing here is I'm fixing some of the overruns with some more of the sort of Panzeraces flesh base, and this is the bits where you get your studs in. Again, it's the slightest touch, and let the paint flow off and form a little blob.
So that's the guy finished. He's still a bit shiny at the top. I'll have to put some dull coat on that just to take it down, but effectively got to be fairly pleased with that, I guess. for the length of time it took. We've got Panzer Aces, flesh base, elf flesh. There was a tiny bit of blood red for his lips, and mithril silver and black for the studs, and the only other thing was the Ogren flesh. So next I'll get on to painting his great coat and stuff, but for the moment that'll do, mate. Thanks very much. Okay, so the next step with Varass is to paint his great coat, and I've gone for sombre grey. He just looks like a kind of sombre kind of guy. Again, first time trying to do this on camera, so bear with me guys, okay?
I left this next bit in for you painters who are starting off, because even people who are as old and long in the tooth as I am can still make a complete arse of it. And yeah, this is me thinking, oh, I've painted myself in a corner here, so no, I'm going to have to do it. And here come the famous painting words.
Epic fail. So a bit of a disaster there, but I've had to use a bit of blue wash to try and bring those details out. Wasn't what I originally planned on doing, but that's live TV.
So that's obviously his boots done very quickly, and now it's on to washing the trousers in black. Yeah, I don't necessarily see using washes as a cheat. Other people, do you know what? It's effective, it works, and you can spend longer on other parts of your models which are more important. So I quite like the way his trousers look at the end. So sue me. Okay, so it's about this time I realised that I'm going to have to paint that armour, so I thought, well, he might have... The story from McCragg is he crashes in a spaceship, so I was thinking the armour's going to be sort of Imperial Guard type armour, flak armour or something like that. So I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to use that colour scheme. So it's the same sort of colour I would do if I ever came round to building an Imperial Guard army, and that is Catchkin green and just some edge highlights. very, very conscious that there's a lack of talking, and maybe that's a blessing to you. Maybe you've got me on mute, I don't know. But basically, I was finding things every time I was picked up that paintbrush. I was finding things. Oops, I'll have to go back and fix that. I'll have to go back and fix this. It's an organic experience. You know, every time you were to do one of these things, it would be different. Bits I've missed, bits I've overpainted that I shouldn't have. Doing the cheek guard parts here was quite important because it gave the relief against the face. So again, very important, and I had to remember to go back and shade them later on. Edge highlighting is something I still find difficult to do, even with a brush that size. I think because I am so close to the models when I'm painting them, I always think it looks rubbish. But when you actually see a model at tabletop range, you know, a couple inches away, or 12 inches, 14 inches away, these colours blend in, and it looks good. Even though I do say so myself, it looks all right, passable. So yeah, don't be too self-critical. Anyone who knows me will laugh because that's all I am. But it will force you to be a better painter eventually. So we're definitely getting towards the finishing touches and the detail pieces. These cylinders are meant to be holding gene seeds or some other type thing, but I painted this miniature because I know someone who works in the quality control of a local dairy, and I just thought it was really funny to paint toxic milk. So he's a toxic milkman. So anyway, I thought it was funny. Went a little bit crazy and painted his gun red. Why not? You know, a big red gun. That's why not? I've seen a few photographs of Varass. One actually had a red gun, and I thought, yeah, it looks like a sort of do not mess with me. I might be a scientist, but I could still splat you across the room. So ended up with a red gun. So after the buttons on his trench coat or his greatcoat, and just a little retainer band around the canister in his neck, decided to paint that gold. Just trying to break up the chrome, something a little bit different. But it's these detail pieces that I actually love. I could sit and paint detail all day. Certainly, I think I'm okay at it. But if you want to know how to do like chips and scratches and stuff, Roddy's your man for that. So we're now at the stage where I'm going to get my big black wash out, and it's going to cover a multitude of sins, especially to get definition at the cables at the back. I love using these kind of things. Black wash in here makes all the difference. It's easy to get carried away with it, so use it sparingly, but it's pretty awesome. I also put a lot on the gun to take the sort of Buck Rogers look out the gun down a couple of notches. Yeah, I thought I better drill out the barrel. I wasn't entirely sure if it was a bolt pistol or a las gun, but I've gone and checked and it was actually a bolt pistol, but some type I've never seen before. So I drilled out the barrel and dropped a drop of black paint down there just to set the scene. Again, here comes the black wash to give the definition to the chest eagle. For bigger pieces I would actually paint that now with wolf grey and then paint it white, but for small pieces like this the black wash works really well. As you can see, I go back and touch up the skull a couple of times just to make sure that the eye sockets and the teeth are definitely covered. And that's us done. So as I say, this is my first attempt at a sort of tutorial. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but I hope you like the model. I hope you've learned even one thing would be awesome. And remember, Crux Terminatus, a mass of balls. So here's some photos of the finished model. Please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot to Roddy and I, and we'd like to hear what you think about all our videos. Thanks for watching.